or just ignore.
I've gone to the fan page a few times and noticed that it's been down. How have you found the Facebook kind of platform has coped with Alex's popularity?
It's been up and down. There's been times when there has been an issue. There's also been times when we have, as admin users, have been inextricably locked out of the page to do anything with posts, which has been a little bit tricky. It hasn't had a major impact on what's going on, to be honest. And most of the time, most of those issues tend not to be big issues from Facebook. There tend to be some other problems that are causing the page to be down rather than a global issue. We've had one or two global problems.
Has 100% of your activity taken place in this sort of parallel world, or have you done anything around converting specifically? It just happened organically?
The converting, if you go to comparethemeerkats.com, you will find, obviously, the ability to compare thousands of meerkats. But next to the site, or all around that site, are banners, basically, for Compare the Market, pushing people to compare the market. So there has been, Compare the Market themselves have sent out some emails to their base which have Alex on and are talking about meerkats, and also talk a little bit about car insurance in other areas of the emails. But the key point is, especially for all the fans and for all the engagement about this, people aren't engaging in car insurance or car insurance aggregator. They're engaging in the character here. And the brief from the client from the off was, we are Compare the Market, we compete with Go Compare, and we compete with Money Supermarket. They have two of our biggest terms. They are bigger than us, they spend more than us. We need to make our name famous. And so the brief effectively was, make something else famous in order for them to become famous. And it was easier to make a Russian meerkat famous than it was to make the fourth at the time largest price comparison site famous.
How did they react to that? Sorry.
How did they react to that?
How did they react to your idea? I mean,
they bought it. It was a pitch. It was a big call. It's a very, very brave client. I will, on that, I will absolutely hold my hands up. We try and present as many different differentiating standout ideas as we can. Obviously, that's our job as a creative agency. A number of them don't get bought, and a number of them go into bottom drawers to try and come out another time. I mean, I'm sure you're all aware of the Cadbury's Gorilla ad that apparently had been tried to be sold to a number of clients before it went and got bought by Cadbury's. So yeah, hats off to the client. They sat there in the pitch and went, okay, if we're going to do this, we need to step change what we're doing and take ourselves completely out of where this market is and really deliver emotional engagement in what is becoming an ever more commoditized process.
What did you say you were going to deliver? I mean, it's obviously hard enough to track how it's effective. There's obviously a lot of value in Compare the Meerkat, but what did you say to them that you were going to deliver, or did you just keep it as loose as?
We kept it, some of those slides that you saw there came from our original presentation to them about what we felt we should do, how we felt we should connect, about linking up the different spaces and what we should do there. So actually when we started, we had an agreement that we would go with it. We already knew from very early on that it was getting a lot of fans, and it was just about working with that and working out how to best capitalize on that and add more and just generate something else from it. So provide the content, provide those chat catalysts that would keep the conversation going in the social spaces. We actually didn't know how far it would go. Certainly now we're targeting certain numbers, but ultimately in the case of the brand here, the most important place to get people is to Compare the Meerkat, because from Compare the Meerkat, there you can drive the direct links to Compare the Market. In the other spaces, it's about the engagement with Meerkat in order to continue, or in order to maintain those links in people's minds to Meerkat and Market as an insurance brand further down the line.
Just over. A couple of questions. First one is, The figures obviously very impressive. I don't know much about advertising. Is it the cost-effective way for the business to achieve what they wanted in comparison to traditional things? And the second one is, obviously it's natural that you bring us a successful case study. Have you seen examples of where people have tried to do this and not had the same success?
In terms of advertising cost-effective, yes, it is cost-effective by bringing down the cost for them to get somebody to the site. And then the cost for that quote, it's a double success for them. And that's why there is more of the Meerkat on television than there would have been, than there was initially planned in January and February, because it's been so successful in bringing those people in. And sorry, the unsuccessful elements. There were a number of brand identities that when we were doing, because it's very difficult to kind of assess how we've done in comparison to the rest of the social space, because there aren't a great deal of stats out there on campaigns. We looked and benchmarked ourselves against a number of other campaigns. And there were campaigns that have done quite well, but we just felt could have done considerably better. I think one of the ones, especially that we felt was good, but could possibly have got a bit more in there, was the Snickers Mr. T and Get Some Nuts. Just felt like it had some real social currency there that perhaps wasn't utilised as well as it could have done, or perhaps wasn't as connected as well. One of the things I didn't talk about in much detail was how connected everything is throughout the campaign. So if you arrive on Compare the Meerkat, there on the front page we're talking about the Twitter feeds, the Facebook pages. It's really important to bring all those elements together to really create that holistic sense of real social movement.
We just have 2 more questions. Yeah, very excited then.
You mentioned that you post on Facebook weekly. Why did you choose weekly?
We've only just gone to weekly. We sort of were experimenting with it, and over the course of the last 6 months, we experimented with different types of posts. So I talked a bit about the posts that ask the community to come back with feedback being the most popular and the ones that get the most comments and the most likes. So what we're actually doing is become a practical response of an iterative process to get the most effective use of the channel. We did find that if we posted on Facebook too often, as we did, we had a bloopers reel, a new TV ad, and the new website launching all on the same week, just because some timings shifted, and we were posting constantly about that, and we did see an increase in the number of people defriending. Not in any way getting to the competing with the numbers of fans that we were getting, but it was something that we were quite conscious of. We don't want to be seen as spamming people with information they don't want. We do want to be seen as relevant for them, and 1 post a week seemed to give us the right amount of response for the right amount of effort from us, from a commercial point of view.
And the last question, who can wave the hardest? Yeah, down here. No.
What was the original company's use of social media before and then after the campaign? Because I'm interested in how it would have affected their view of the channel.
They had nothing on social media, really. Their business as a whole, which is Budget Insurance Group, also do Bennett's bike insurance. And I don't know if any of you are bikers here, but Bennett's have Bennett's Babes, who go out or used to go out in front of the MotoGP with their boards looking lovely. Now there's some obvious areas for that to work in social media, getting fans there and getting people to vote for who they want to be the next Bennett's Babe. But that was about as far as it went. This was absolutely a step into the unknown, as to be honest was taking on a completely new character and stepping out of the comfort zone of price comparison sites. Are really easy to use, aren't they? Which is kind of where they were at.
Right, brilliant. Thanks very much, Buster.
Thanks.